Hello, my name is Nisa Frank, and I'm the head of school at Prospect Sierra. We are so glad that you've made time to join us today to hear about our amazing school. I am biased because I get to join this community every day and feel the love and care that exists from all of the folks that enter our campuses. We have two. We have an elementary campus as well as a middle school campus, lovingly called Tapscott over at our elementary school, and Avis at our middle school. We are excited that you are interested in hearing about who we are and what we do every day. Today, you're going to hear a lot about that. You'll hear from the adults in our community, mainly, who guide our children intentionally, lovingly, and with joy on a regular basis. You will hear from administrators as well as educators. They will talk to you about how we guide our students, that we listen really closely to who they are as individuals, but we also are constant learners, thinking about ways in which education will make it so that our students can come in and be a part of it. So a little bit about me. I have been an educator for 23 years. I started off as a teacher. I taught second grade, and then I became an administrator, and I've probably been an administrator for close to 10 to 12 years now. I've been at Prospect Sierra for 6 of those years and intentionally made the shift to be a head of school here. That wasn't necessarily the plan, but the moment I stepped onto the campus at Prospect Sierra, I felt like I was home. So that was an intentional choice for me, and I have not looked back since. The other role that exists in my life is that I am a mom of a 2-year-old. So 23 years in education, 6 years at Prospect Sierra, and 2 years of a roller coaster of learning about a 2-year-old child exploring the world. I often tell people I had him so that he can go to Prospect Sierra. That's how deeply I feel about this school. I want to tell you a little bit more about who we are as a school on a macro level, some of the things that we center and we use to make decisions every day. So first of all, our mission. Our mission is incredibly important to us. We think about our mission, whether it's in our board meetings and we're thinking about our budget as a facilitator of our mission, and we think about our mission when we're thinking about program and what's the best next curriculum to make sure that we're melding the social emotional aspects of our children's lives as well as the academic. So I'm going to read it to you, and my hope is that as you hear it, it feels like something that resonates with you and your family, and absolutely something that you can use as a centering for the reason why you may send your child here every day. So Prospect Sierra inspires and equips students to create a more inclusive and just world through deep and meaningful intellectual engagement, self-knowledge, and care for others. That is our mission. I'm going to read it one more time, actually, because I just want you to hear it and I want it to wash over you. So one more time, Prospect Sierra inspires and equips students to create a more inclusive and just world through deep and meaningful intellectual engagement, self-knowledge, and care for others. That mission is going to take them through the rest of their life. That mission is going to continue to evolve and change in the way that context plays a part in it, but the way in which we teach children, that's the timeless mission. The other things that we center are our values. And so love, justice, innovation, and impact are 4 values that we use to think about our work. Those values inform our strategic priorities and the ways that we think about not just the present, but also the future of our school. Throughout this process, I am happy to talk more about all of those things, but now I'm going to turn it over to our wonderful educators and administrators so you can hear more about the school.
Hello, my name is Kise Rodriguez, and I am the Elementary Division Head here at Prospect Sierra. I am delighted to share a little bit about myself and our school with you to welcome you to our community. I grew up here in the Bay Area in Oakland, and I went to independent schools myself. I was a shy child who was looking for a sense of belonging, and I share that with you because I found that as an adult here at Prospect Sierra as well. I have been a teacher in both independent and public schools, as well as an administrator in both independent and public schools, which I feel very fortunate to have had those experiences to bring that knowledge and background with me here in my job every day. I love Prospect Sierra for our 4 values, which are love, justice, innovation, and impact, and find that what we do here is think thoughtfully around how we make mission-aligned decisions, and that we stay true to our values in every piece of our program. Speaking a little bit about our program, for our language arts curriculum, we partner with collaborative classrooms and use being a reader and being a writer for language arts. This allows our students to do deep work on phonics instruction in early grades and reading comprehension and fluency in our upper grades. We work on handwriting starting in TK all the way through fourth grade. And in fourth grade, you'll begin to see kids be able to type stories, both nonfiction reports and fiction stories as well. You can see on this weekly schedule that our students might be in a homeroom class for part of the day and then in specialist classes throughout the rest of the day. For our math curriculum, we use Bridges, which also includes Number Corner. So our students start every day with the calendar, looking at patterns, looking at what numbers might come next, making predictions, estimates, counting from skip counting, making groups of 10, anything that you can teach through just everyday calendar work. They, of course, learn the days of the week, holidays that we might celebrate, and events that the school might share with each other. As we continue on in math through the upper grades, we begin to do math challenges. Bridges uses extension programs, and our teachers are incredible around differentiation. So a math challenge program might look like a group project or a pair partners working together. We ask kids to talk out their number thinking, so we do a lot of math talks where kids are able to not only say an answer to a math problem, but explain how they got to that answer. The most fascinating part in a math class is when you see kids get to the same answer in a lot of different ways. Critical thinking is huge in our program in all subject areas, and especially in humanities. We are a social justice-minded school, and our students really lean into our humanities curriculum by thinking about resistance, whose voices may not have been heard in history, and how do we continue to amplify those voices. Our students see themselves as change makers, and they feel empowered to make changes in the world, starting in TK all the way through fourth grade and beyond. We also work really hard in our humanities curriculum to look at what diversity means. What does it mean to have diverse family structures, diverse gender identity and expression, diverse racial and ethnic identity and expression, and how do all of our differences in cultures and identity characteristics come together to make such a unique and vibrant school? We are incredibly fortunate to have specialist classes as well at Tapscott. Our students are exposed to music, art, drama, library, PE, collab, Spanish, and science in all of our grades. Our specialist classes also partner with our homeroom teachers. So library might do a deep dive into a research project that they're learning in writing in third grade, and they will spend extra time in the library learning how to research those books. Our collab teacher always partners with our first grade classrooms, for example, to work on their neighborhood unit, where they learn all about the different parts of a neighborhood, what kind of people live in a neighborhood, what kind of jobs exist in a neighborhood, and then our first graders build those neighborhoods, little model neighborhoods in collab. And then we get to do a community walk. It's a museum where you might see a hospital built by a first grader, or a vet, or a post office. And it's another beautiful example of the way our teachers collaborate together. We do strongly believe in supporting the whole child. That means that from the second they get onto this campus to the moment that they leave, they are supported by every individual on our campus. We have an incredible before care team who watches our students who might arrive as early as 7:30 in the morning, all the way through our extended program team who watch our children until 6 p.m. when our last pickup time is. The extended program team also offers enrichment classes, which allow kids to learn things like chess and coding and martial arts and hip hop dance. And we see that as part of our extended learning. So our students are here on our campus all day long, learning, enjoying, and very much rooted in play and laughter. We also support the whole child through our learning support team, which are 2 learning specialists here at the Tapscott campus who support all students and teachers TK through 4th grade, looking at what differentiation really means for each individual student. That might mean a child needs some extra support in reading development or an extra challenge in science class. And our learning support team is able to work with our teachers to ensure that the kids are getting everything they need. We're incredibly fortunate to have a school counselor on site who works with our teachers again to look at our social emotional curriculum, make sure that we're giving the tools such as Komochis and Toolbox to both our students and our teachers to make sure our students feel grounded and loved and supported throughout their learning every day. Our school counselor also does pushing classes into the classroom, where she teaches about the guard dog brain and the wise owl, and tools that will allow students to feel like they have what they need inside to also get through challenging moments. We are fortunate to have small class sizes, so our students are able to do a lot of small group learning, individual work with teachers. We have multiple teachers supporting classes, so you might see a learning specialist and 2 classroom teachers in a room at the same time, running small groups, or 2 specialist teachers working with 2 homeroom teachers, collaborating on a play that the students might perform in drama. We are incredibly lucky to be a growth mindset school. So in everything that we do, we see it as a learning moment and a teachable opportunity for our students and our adults. Some of our adults are also in school learning how to be teachers, and we make sure that our students know that we are all growing and learning. It's always okay to make mistakes, and that we learn and become stronger educators and stronger students because of those. We are a school rooted in joy and play, so no matter where you are on this playground, in a classroom, or in an office, you will see people laughing, playing games, and making sure that everyone in the community feels those values of love, justice, innovation, and impact. And now I am excited to introduce to you some of our amazing faculty.
Hi everyone, my name is Betty Chan, and I'm one of the kindergarten teachers at Prospect Sierra. Over 10 years ago, I came into teaching through a fortuitous series of events. I always knew I wanted to be a teacher at some point in my life, as there were so many educators in my family who worked in different contexts, and I would hear stories about their teaching experience and leading schools in a rural Chinese village during the Cultural Revolution, and become fascinated by the systems in place that both supported their work and provided moments of challenge. Their work and stories have always inspired me to find moments of joy and value in each experience, from academics to social skills to life skills. From hearing stories around the dinner table to working with children of all ages in my high school and college years, mentorship and being around young people have been a through line in all the parts of my life. In my first teaching position, I was given the opportunity to work with preschool-aged children for the first time, and I was marveling at their world of joy, learning, and general wonderment at how remarkable early childhood development truly is. This was the official beginning of my teaching journey over 10 years ago, and I have not looked back since. Along my journey, I've met and worked with other incredible educators who have helped shape and develop my pedagogy as a teacher, and my beliefs that children are competent and capable, and with the right questions and guidance can accomplish anything. What I love most about kindergartners is being part of their first school experience. Their first experience making lasting friendships, their first experience learning academic skills, and their first experience making lifelong friendships, as well as their first experience from being away from home consistently, all with such openness and wonder. And the most rewarding part of this work is when we begin to see the authentic connections happen and the students begin to understand how they play an important role in the community and how they are an integral part of the puzzle piece that is missing when they are not present. What makes Prospect Sierra such a wonderful place to be an educator and community member is that this is a space where I am welcome to bring in my ideas, my passions, and share and integrate them into the curriculum. That my story, my journey, my experiences bring a rich narrative to the community, and this plays out in the stories that I tell my students and are reciprocated by the stories that they share about their own lives, which are equally important and revered. For me, this means sharing my love of cooking and exploring culture around food. eating traditions, and where food comes from. Currently, in the classroom, this is playing out through robust conversations about what we should do with the 2 pumpkins we rise in the classroom. And this is welcomed and encouraged at Prospect Sierra, as I can truly feel that joyful teaching is a tenet of success for my students. When students first come into kindergarten at Prospect Sierra, we instill in them from the very first day that they are readers, they're mathematicians, they're scientists and artists and scholars. As we build up each part of their identities as a student, we also integrate explicit daily instruction to bolster that image of themselves as a scholar. One of the most magical things about kindergarten, and the reason I choose to stay in this grade, is watching their confidence develop as they become readers. Coming into the school year in the fall, we often will have some students who are already reading, some students who are still learning the letters of their name, and then most of the students somewhere in between. At Prospect, we are able to meet your child where they are and to extend what they know and to build a strong foundation, all with developing a community of love, trust, and risk-taking. This is done through valuing relationships between students and teachers and a schedule that follows our values of group learning, hearing each other's stories, and celebrating growth. Our literacy practice is grounded in whole group structured literacy, where we spend time building a strong foundation for phonemic awareness and simultaneously build a strong base of background knowledge so that when the students are reading, not only can they decode, they can also make sense of what they are reading. In addition to group instruction, there's also a heavy focus on individual instruction. Many of our academic blocks are completed in half groups so that we can tailor instruction to the level where your child is at. And it gives us the opportunity to really get to know your child and where they are in their learning journey. In kindergarten at Prospect Sierra, we integrate academics into many parts of the day, both explicitly and through the use of materials. And one of my most favorite parts of kindergarten is a routine called Story Workshop, where students are tapping into their natural instincts of play to develop and create the story. This process that honors their innate ability to play and use materials to tell stories in multiple mediums, such as magnetiles, blocks, watercolor, or Play-Doh, to create a rich narrative before being asked to put it on paper. This gives even the most apprehensive artists and writers the ability to engage in the writing process from their comfort level. After creating their stories in play, the students go into their writing and drawing notebooks to formalize their stories through pictures and words. And at this point in the year, many students feel apprehensive about writing a whole story. So we build their confidence and we begin with labels, and then we move on to sentences. And soon enough, they're able to write a whole story with a setting, characters, and a deep plot line that includes a beginning and a middle and end, with all the details in between developed through their play. The same care and thought is utilized while we teach math in kindergarten. We use the Bridges in Math curriculum, which will spiral throughout their time here at Prospect Sierra. The students engage in explicit math talks, which challenge them not only to come up with answers to a solution, but to explain their thinking and hear how their classmates may have also reached the same solution through a different way of seeing and thinking. Then they move on to math rotations that solidify their understanding of learning through independent work and play. And this is a time where we can check in for understanding as well as push for extensions for the students that are ready. The final part of our math curriculum is Number Corner, which is a daily routine that students engage in every day during their time here at Prospect Sierra. Number Corner is a time in the day where students are exploring math concepts such as patterns, numeracy, repetition, and connections to the real world concepts that are around them. These conversations often lead to connections to their lived experience as the weather and the time of year changes in the time of year deepen their connection to their classmates and their classroom.
Hello, my name is Kyla Womberg. I'm one of the fourth grade teachers here at Prospect Sierra. This is my 8th year at Prospect Sierra and my 8th year in 4th grade. And while my plan when I first got to Prospect Sierra was to only stay for 2 years while I was getting my master's in teaching credential, it didn't take very long for me to realize that I had found my home and that I wanted to stay at Prospect Sierra, just because how mission aligned we are, and truly just how joyful I felt coming to work every day. Not only do I get to teach in the most incredible classroom with the most magnificent view of the bay, but there's just this magic at this school where students and teachers just simply want to be here. They want to be at school. This is not my first classroom I've been in. I've been in many school settings in my lifetime, starting when I was a very young child in my mother's classroom. She's been a teacher for over 30 years in the Bay Area. And so after school, I would always go into her classroom and I would beg to write the schedule on the board. And then if she was caught in a meeting, I would actually teach fake students in her classroom with the big ruler and writing on the board. And it felt far more like a calling than a choice to become a teacher. And while I love working with the parent community and with my colleagues, I prefer just being with the students and being inspired by them and their wonder and their imagination and their just unbridled curiosity. One of the many reasons why I'm so passionate about teaching is because I'm witness every day to just how hard students work. We ask a lot of kids and of our students, and the grit and the dedication and the joy that they show on a daily basis is an inspiration to be around. My teaching approach to make this kind of hard work more sustainable is to really invest in the relationships I have with each of my students, as well as foster the relationships that they have with each other and within the classroom community. Relationships are the foundation of what we all need in order to be successful. And so building these connections throughout the year is perhaps my favorite part of my job. One thing I want to talk about today is how we welcome new fourth grade students. So it's not just kindergarten or TK where we get new students every year, but fourth graders see new students every single year. And every year I'm witness to just how these students seamlessly integrate into the fabric of our school. And I think it's partially just because kids are so resilient, but it's also because of some of the systems that we have in place that allow these students to quickly integrate into our community. One thing we do is we buddy them up with another family, and so they feel like there's a place to go to if they have any questions, parents or students. And then something we do inside the classroom is that we buddy students up with another student who's been here. And sometimes it's one student, sometimes it's two students, but they can really rely on these students to help support them with their day-to-day. So anything from like, where do we put the balls at the end of recess? Where does the ball bin go? Or what are the clubs that we can attend throughout the week? Or introducing them to specialists when they go and making sure that they have this advocate and this friend with them, especially in the first few weeks of school, but definitely throughout the school year. And then one of my perhaps favorite traditions for new students is at the end of the first day of school every year, we ask students to share an appreciation for our new students, because while everyone has experienced fourth grade first day of school for the first time, these students have had their first day at a new school in fourth grade. So I think it's important to highlight just that bravery. And every year we have students who just want to share real genuine appreciations for these new students. I had a student one year who just said, "It just feels like you've always been here." And that mirrors a lot of what I also feel is it's incredible how quickly these students acclimate to this new environment, and how quickly they are just absorbed into the magic of Prospect Sierra. We also give families an opportunity to come into the classroom prior to school starting. And so the days before the first day of school, we'll invite families and new students in, so they can both get to know the classroom and see the space, but also get to know the teachers, so that on the first day of school, they have a familiar face and also a sense of kind of where will they sit and where are their materials and where do you line up when the bell rings. So that's also a helpful way to help them integrate. We really do take new student integration really seriously, and we know that it will take more than just a few weeks to acclimate to a new school, and our goal really is just to build those relationships to last all year long. The last thing I'll address is just how we support all the academic needs that are in one single classroom, and I think this is one of many reasons why I feel so supported by the school as a teacher, because I just have so many resources and tools to be able to meet all of my students' needs. And so a visual I like to guide my teaching is to offer a low floor and a high ceiling to ensure that there's a space for every kid. Every kid is challenged and every kid's needs are being met. And we really accomplish this by just how our classroom is set up, small class sizes, and teachers, right? Teachers, either lead teachers, co-teachers, associate teachers that can be in a space, as well as a learning specialist that can come in and really support all of our students. A very specific example is that right now we're in the infamous fraction unit in 4th grade. And this unit really requires like a lot of manipulatives, a lot of tools, and a lot of support one-on-one or in small group to ensure that students are understanding the material and still feeling confident in their abilities as a mathematician. And so this last week we had a lesson on finding equivalent fractions. And so after the lesson, we split up in really 4 different groups, where one group was with me on the rug, where we just got to practice. We had our whiteboards out and we were just writing different equivalent fractions over and over for kids that really benefited just from that repeated practice. We had some students who were chose to stay at desks and really wanted to work independently. They always have choices to get buddy blockers or noise canceling headphones. And so there was a group there. We had another group that was outside with another teacher in partnership. So students who really like to talk it out with another partner and work on some practice problems outside were able to do that. And then our learning specialist was able to pull a small group and really kind of offer targeted practice and even reteaching for students who needed just a little bit of extra modeling in order to understand the concept. And so that's just a beautiful example of how we were able to take one lesson and really meet the needs of all of our students and do it in a way that feels successful for both the teacher and the student. These groups also fluctuate, so it's not like the same group is always with the same teacher or always working independently, but we really like to rotate different groups throughout the year. So that's just one example of how we support all of our students' academic needs. Thank you for listening, and I wish you luck in your journey.
Hi families, my name is Sophia Janone. I'm a licensed psychologist and school psychologist counselor here at our elementary campus. I adore what I do. I'm so lucky to work at the intersection of well-being and learning and really be right in the middle of where children are growing every day. Kids call me the feelings teacher, but really I'm part of this village where we really center social emotional learning practices in every classroom and every specialist. I love the days when I walk into music and I realize that our music teacher is not just teaching music, but she's teaching us how to listen and pay attention and work together. How in PE, I see kids not just playing and learning games and having a wonderful time, but they're also learning cooperation skills, how to win, how to lose, how to make the most of disappointment, and work as a team. In drama, kids have the opportunity to express themselves and learn about emotion through action and play. And again, in art, often we'll see emotion come through in that specialist classroom with the way that kids are drawing, emotions, faces, and really learning expression through different modalities. So I'm part of this village. I am the feelings teacher and I do help center social emotional learning here at Tapscott. We have a very proactive approach to social emotional learning where I work with our youngest students, TK through 1st grade, on a weekly basis. We'll have social emotional learning circles where we center practices drawn from Toolbox, Kimochis, mindfulness, and a range of restorative practices. And there is just an opportunity for me to get to know every student and for us to start centering pieces that might be coming up for a particular cohort, whether it's really focusing on friendship or on emotion regulation or on different aspects of social emotional learning. So I work at the student level proactively with all of our classrooms, TK through 1st, but then I also push into 2nd through 4th grades for more specific lessons that might relate to that particular age or that cohort. Lessons there can range everything from looking at our strengths in 4th grade to looking at the inner coach or inner critic. So once we've kind of had that opportunity to work whole group, I also then work in small groups with kids. It might be a lunch bunch or a small group kind of pull-out situation where we're really working on friendship skills or confidence building or a whole range of topics that might be coming up for an individual or a small group of kiddos among any of our grades. And then lastly, sometimes I do support students individually who may be struggling with a transition or a challenge of a certain kind, whether it's related to friendship, social skills building, emotion regulation, a whole wide range. So as much as I love to work with all of our students, I also work closely with parents. I'm here as a partner in conversation, just as someone who can kind of have extra eyes on what's happening for a particular student. And I'll often meet with families just to kind of chat about how is the growth and development and well-being of your child, and are there ways that we can help support them here at school, and team up sometimes with outside providers to make sure that we're aligned in the way that we're helping to support a particular student's growth. Lastly, I work closely with our teachers. We have a number of specialist classes here, which means we have a teamwork approach where we're really bringing everyone on board around how we're working with students, with groups, so that we're all seeing and working on the same thing in terms of social emotional practices and growth. And really, our focus is just that emotions matter, not just kind of once in a while. They matter all the time, and they matter in all of our classes. And our approach to social emotional learning really is an integrated approach where it's part of the way that we do things rather than just a certain kind of what we are doing. So we see that in the way teachers model their own self-care practices, the way they model in their classrooms their own approach to learning and really a love of learning. So that's a quick overview of the way that love is centered at Prospect Sierra.
In closing, I really appreciate the time spent getting to know more about Prospect Sierra, and I want to introduce myself and share a little bit about what I bring to this conversation. So hello, I am Renee Thompson. I'm the Director of Enrollment and Outreach at Prospect Sierra School, which means I work with families applying to grades TK through 8. I have been a member of this community for 18 years. First, I started as a parent at Prospect Sierra in 2008. My child joined kindergarten. Now I have a college student. It happens. But what I love about my job is really bringing families to the campus to explore the school and get to imagine the opportunities their child might have in the future. So welcome. And a few bits of information I want to tell you about after you've heard from our wonderful faculty and staff are the details. You know, if this is your first time getting to know us, who is and what is Prospect Sierra. And so we are a TK through 8 elementary and middle school located in El Cerrito. I love to say we have 2 campuses, but we are one school. We are less than 2 miles apart. Our community is a variety of the East Bay and San Francisco area. We have 16 cities represented, which actually turns out to be approximately 27 zip codes for the 450 students who attend our school. As you can see, the diversity among our students and faculty of color at 63% and 54%. I also like to share that we represent all genders within our progressive school, and 1 in 3 students that attends Prospect Sierra participates in our flexible tuition program. So I highly encourage families who are in strong consideration of their finances to know we care about investing in our families, and I would encourage you to ask more questions because again, socioeconomic diversity is important to our community. And we also like to say, once a Prospect Sierra family, always a Prospect Sierra family. Each year we have less than 5% attrition school-wide, and that just affirms why families enroll in our school and stay in our school. The little attrition that we do have is really tied to employment and moving out of the area. In terms of our entry points, we want students at all grade levels. So we are a TK through 8th grade school. Our main entry points are at the TK, kindergarten, and 6th grade level. And we do welcome new students every year for grades 1 through 7. So what should you do next? Definitely visit in person. If you have not already scheduled a campus tour, I highly encourage you to join us, whether it is at our elementary and or our middle school. Our tours are from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. We love having adults only just because our young friends will get to have opportunities to visit the campus at a different time. But as parents, you get to soak in what it is that makes us uniquely us. So definitely, if you have not done that, tours run from November through January. The other thing you might want to consider, if you haven't already, are the online information sessions. That is the opportunity to connect with our admin, our senior administrators on campus, like Nisa Frank, who you heard from, our head of school, the division directors, to ask those questions. Certainly we can give you the nuts and bolts about Prospect Sierra, but what is it that you're seeking to learn more about, so we can help you with that. I love our admissions process because we provide a variety of things that may be uniquely helpful to you. So we offer upcoming events like Coffee with Nisa and Friends, and we really do encourage you, come on by, grab a cup of coffee, ask those questions, learn more about us. We tend to offer that in the month of December. We also do host flexible tuition workshops. So financially, that really mattered to me as a parent here at Prospect Sierra. When my son joined the community, flexible tuition meant really being on a sliding scale that fits your family. All families are full pay families within our community. We all have different resources, and we know that when you commit financially to the school, you're looking for a partner in that. And so how do you apply? How do you go through that process? We have online Zoom opportunities that I lead along with our chief financial officer to try to really demystify what it means to apply for flexible tuition. And once you're enrolled in a school, what does that look like moving forward? We have two amazing programs that have begun last year and this year, which is the Children's Education Initiative, which focuses on enrolling 2 kindergarten families with all tuition and fees paid. And complementary to that is the Equity Action Program in 6th grade, which enrolls 2 students with all tuition and fees paid. The only way that you need to apply for that is to apply through our regular flexible tuition program. And when families are designated for these 2 particular programs, once admitted, you are guaranteed your education here at Prospect Sierra. For more questions, really please do reach out to me or anyone on the admissions team so that we can guide you through that process. So, learning so much about schools takes a lot of energy. You've learned about community, philosophy and values, how many students we have, what our flexible tuition program and additional initiatives do to serve families. What do you need to do next? Let's go. You need to apply. You need to fill out the paperwork, and everything that you need is located on our Prospect Sierra website. So whether it's morning, noon, or night, I was definitely that 2 a.m. person whose mind was working and said, let me finish this document. You certainly can do so, and you will see the glowing faces of Amy, Beth, and I who work in admissions waiting for you to fill out your paperwork. So what does that look like? That looks like filling out the online application, which you need to go through a portal called Final Site. So click on prospectsierra.org, look at admissions, click on Apply Now, and it will guide you through the checklist that's necessary. If you're applying to TK&K, your children will be invited on a weekend date to come on by and do a play date with us. We enjoy those days. And if you're applying to grades 1 through 4, your child will get to do a full day visit with us. They get to be the musicians, they get to be the writers, they get to test us out and see, what do I think about this opportunity in the school community? I will say they have a lot of fun. And then for parents through this process, there is engagement, there's the ability to ask questions. We do parent conversations, which means Amy, Beth, and I will meet with you to say, what do you need to know in order to make an informed decision? Because we want families to feel like they have as much information as they need to make that decision, because enrollment begins starting in March of the coming school year for the following fall. So again, the process is come and visit, apply in January, admission decisions go out in March, and then that following fall, you would begin your school year. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us, admissions@prospectsierra.org. Thank you again for joining us, and we hope to see you soon.